winger needs to come in.
Facts.
But you can certainly get the best out of these players. Martinelli is not a bad player. Yeah. Saka is an unbelievable winger. Up top, we've got Kai Havertz, who easily could score goals. Marino scored goals. Erdegaard is apparently a creative magician. Why aren't they creating? Why aren't they scoring? I think it's this guy. I think the possession-based football is so boring. It is sideways and backwards. Get it to Saka and whip a ball in, and hopefully one of you will get your bonds on it because everyone's 6'4". I don't get how that is going to win you the league. So this guy, now that we've brought in Gyökeres and Erdegaard needs to be released and Zubimendi's going to give Erdegaard space and Rice is going to be winning the ball back high up the pitch and Saka's got the delivery and the assist and the goals and you're going to bring in hopefully another left winger and Eze to come in and help with low blocks. Tell me why you can't go and get this team scoring, because he has got to improve things now. He cannot continue to play like this. The style has to change. We have to be more free-flowing. We have to be quicker on counter. We have to be a hell of a lot more attack-minded. And we need to go into games believing that set pieces are a part of our game, not the only part of our game. And if we can do
just
that...
like everything else you mentioned, it's a part, it's not our game. Facts then.
Yeah. At 22-23, we saw a brilliant side. And it weren't far off the players we have now, personnel. Yeah. We didn't, if you look at it, yeah, Partey and Xhaka are no longer here, but we brought in Zubimendi and Rice. That's replaced Xhaka and Partey. And you look at Jesus, who's now been replaced with Gyökeres. Everything else is the same right now in our attack. Saka, Erdegaard, Martinelli. So I don't know why people believe it's these players. They ain't good enough. That's not true, because the players that have been brought in have done it before and were brought in by the manager you're saying is good enough. So either the manager isn't very good at buying players or the manager isn't very good at getting the best out of them. Which one is it? So I've got a lot of pressure for Mikel Arteta this season, man. I don't think people appreciate how hard this is going to be, because I tell you this now, and people won't want to hear it. Oh, he's negative, he's toxic. We play like we did yesterday. In the first 6 games, he has lost his job. It's simple as that. It is that simple. We play like we did yesterday with that possession-based 2 shots on target against Liverpool at Anfield, Newcastle at St James's Park, even Old Trafford at United, Manchester City at home. We aren't winning any of those games, and we are 12th in the table or something like that. And he has to then go and somehow find 90 points when in the first 6 he's picked up 4 or 5.
Do you really think he gets sacked in his first 6?
No. He won't get sacked then in his first 6. What I mean by that is he will lose his job come May, because that 6 is massively important.
I get where you're going. Important. That's where you look back in hindsight.
So you'll look back and go, those first 6 games, what the hell was he doing there? That's where he lost the league. So he won't get sacked then, DG. No, I didn't mean that. I mean, he will lose his job come May, because he is. He's going to get to the end of the season, in my opinion. And I still think he'll stay whatever, if I'm honest with you, because I don't think the Cronkies will sack him. However, if he doesn't win
$50 million, they're not paying him that.
Yeah. If he doesn't win the Premier League or the Champions League and at least get a trophy across the line, whether it's the domestic trophy or not, and get into a title race at bare minimum, he should be removed from his position. Because at 6 years at £1 billion spent, which it will be by the time we get there, you have to win a trophy. And some are saying a Carabao Cup's not enough. An FA Cup's not enough. For me, I'd take it because I love those trophies. However, I can appreciate they're not the ones that
you'd
make
save face, but it's not enough.
Exactly that. You won't look at it and go, do you know what? This 6 weeks has been painful, but that Carabao Cup, all is forgiven. No, it will help, and it will give us winning mentality, and it's still that belief. But we have to go and do something serious this season. And I think he knows that. But playing the way that we did yesterday, and him to come out and say we're happy with it, that's worrying for me, bruv.
It must be the only way I can rationalize that is, you're going to say one thing publicly and then the next thing privately. And the jarring thing is, he's never been an exciting attacking manager necessarily, but he's shown elements that the man can coach. You made us great defensively. You mentioned 2022-23 season, blisteringly good football. Whatever people have to say at some point in their lives at Arsenal, Saka, Odegaard, Smith Rowe when he was here, Martinelli, they've all had standout seasons. As much as none of us can really understand why Rice plays as an 8. You can kind of see certain positives in that regard. So there's elements of it. I don't know if he's still burnt by the 2022-23 season, because through been burnt through that, you've probably burned yourself now with maybe being a bit over defensive. Maybe he's too centric about, and it's hypocritical because managers do have to overthink and think about the opposition, but maybe there's too much thinking about the opposition and not what we can do, especially like what I said with Rice. Like, you clearly want Rice in at 8 because when we lose the ball, we want to win it back as much as possible. So are we potentially going into games kind of overthinking about what the opponents are doing and not thinking about what we can do? I don't know what it is, but our attack is, you know, goals win games. And arguably, 1, we're Arsenal. 2, goals shouldn't be an issue. 3, even when you look at Gyökeres, yeah, obviously Gyökeres has to adapt. He has healthy question marks of his own. But I look at the fact that you scored bare goals in the Championship, the same in Portugal. If you rock up here and don't score goals, you have to hold yourself accountable, Gyökeres. But I'm looking at the manager because I don't think it's as white and black as you just put great attackers and we're good. I do believe that defensively, even though I like our options, I like it. I see enough with my defenders to say, okay, random Joe Blogs in theory, that's better than Timber and Ben White. I can see how that would work. Or someone that's better than Miles Lewis-Skelly or Gabriel Magalhaes and Saliba or David Raya. I'm kind of comfortable there. I just still think there's issues really, and you're right. Like we do need to find other solutions. We need to evolve. We need to have. We just need to be more difficult to play against. Everyone knows deep blocks, low blocks were in issues. The only saving grace is pre-season's just started, people. So like, I mean, you've kind of answered that really. Like it's a bit of both for you, whether it's the personnel or the system. Arteta needs to evolve. There was something else. Like, how do you feel about the status of the injuries? Because Trossard's picked up a little tweak. I know his future is subject to speculation. Arteta did say that Calafiori, Timber, and Magalhaes are expected to be fit, but I did say off my own bat a few months ago that any issues defensively, I think are self-inflicted because I do think we need to invest. And as I said earlier, I'm a bit nervous with Gabriel, if I'm honest. So it's like, how are you feeling about the state of injuries or the state of play for everyone going into the season? Because we're a couple of weeks away from it now. Like, it's a big season. And are we actually ready, Dan? Like,
yeah, it's a good question. Are Arsenal actually ready? I see the title of this pod and I thought, yeah, do you know what? It's a good question. I think some of the players look very ready. I've got to be honest. I think the manager is hungry. I think the players are hungry. I don't look at Saliba and doubt him. I don't look at the defense and think, what are we doing? I don't look at the midfield yet and think we're ready, but we're certainly not miles off it. Where we are miles off is the attack. You know, I think everybody could see yesterday. I mean, every rival fan was like, well, at least Arsenal are miles off the title. Phew. That's not what I want rivals to be saying. I want rivals to be scared, going, Christ.
Want them to be gassing us.
Yeah, man.
Well, so we just do our job.
I'm hoping the 2 Emirates Cup games, they are saying that, and that Gyökeres and Zubimendi are slotting in, and that these 3 on the screen now are getting fitter. And people are saying, oh, my God, like this is unbelievable. It is a worry for me that Jesus is still out. Gabriel's not fit. Timber's not fit. Calafiori and now Trossard. That's 5 players already. But I've got to be honest with you. I'm looking at the Arsenal in pre-season thinking we haven't actually shown what our best 11 is yet. So that's the one thing that we can kind of have in our kind of secret weapon.
We had a great season in 2022-23, and then obviously we didn't win the league, but you could see the little correlation, like hitting the ground running in that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this guy here is massive for us, right? And we haven't seen him yet. We've seen him for 15 minutes, and there wasn't much that they give the ball to do. So I think he had a nice little touch, made himself a handful, and laid it off to Zubimendi, who had a shot. But other than that, we didn't see much from Victor Gyökeres because we didn't really be able to get him the ball. And that's an Ødegaard issue as well, by the way. Because other than Saka, who's been a threat, the only player that's actually had a wicked pre-season so far in the attack-minded areas is Max Dowman, who has been nothing short
of unbelievable.
15 years old. He takes his GCSEs next year. This guy is unbelievable. It's a ridiculous talent, and it's one that we have to look after. And I hope that if he's good enough, he's old enough, but I hope that he's looked after properly. And, burnout's a big thing, of course, but at the same stage, he has been our best player this preseason. Like, nobody has come close to being as good as him. And that is a massive statement. So
for him and testament to him, but damning on all his teammates, really, if we're saying that about 15
Very much so, bruv. Very much so. Because Ethan had a really good first half against AC Milan. And other than that, we haven't seen much of him, unfortunately. You got Saka, who's been a threat, but I thought Dowman was better than him yesterday. Dowman's been much better than Ødegaard in pre-season. There's not even a debate about who is better, Ødegaard or Dowman. Ødegaard had about 25 minutes against Newcastle where I thought potentially it looked like he was showing some glimpses of him being back and at his best. Dowman has been unbelievably good. You know, people say, what has he done? Just go and look at the reel of what he's done in pre-season. It's been ridiculous. He hasn't scored 15 goals. Calm down, people. But he's actually taken it round players and looked like a threat. He's actually been
taking the game by the balls, just playing ball, just playing. That's why we love football, because of players like Dowman.
Mate, he's been pulling the strings. He's been putting through balls. Some of it ain't been working out. The confidence is there. I actually feel like he's got an intent to shoot and he's got an intent to drive. We've got him and Ethan coming through in similar positions. And I tell you what was really frustrating more than anything, actually, in pre-season so far, is that none of those attacking players that are playing in the first team at the moment look too bothered. You wouldn't know that Ethan's coming through and that Max is coming through and being spoken about, that Eze's being linked, that Gyökeres is through the door, that we're looking at another left winger. Because Martinelli and Trossard are like, yeah, we just keep playing the way we are. I've got no pressure. And the same with Ødegaard and the same with Kai Havertz. I mean, Kai Havertz was nothing short of a shambles yesterday. It was embarrassing how bad he was. On the floor, rolling around.
The Romero nutmegged him, I thought, wow.
Giving the ball away, trying to win penalties, shooting and falling over. It was a calamity. It was a circus act. It was absolutely embarrassing from him. So I don't want to see much of him this season. I think we're going to, unfortunately, and I still think that signing is one that I think will be remembered as one of the worst decisions Mikel Arteta has ever made at Arsenal Football Club. And I need to see more of this guy on screen, man, because I'm a big fan of Gyökeres. I want him to do well.
Do you think he's starting?
I
think he is, but then there's the whole Kai stuff. Some fans are saying, I don't know.
I honestly, people call me dramatic. This might be dramatic. If Kai Havertz is starting at Old Trafford and Gyökeres is on the bench, I think Mikel Arteta needs to go and get some serious therapy. Real talk. Because you've bought
I think we need to go back to basics. Gyökeres, like, we've done all the smart stuff. I think just play your best striker, man. Like, a part 100%. Of me also feels, Dan, that maybe Arteta's he's got too much choice now. Like, because when he didn't have too much choice and he didn't overthink it, I felt a lot better. But he has to start. You're right. He has to. Fitness permitting.
This is a madness decision if he plays Kai Havertz. Like, let's just be real. If he plays Kai Havertz ahead of Victor Gyökeres, it is going to be an absolute laughing stock. Like, I do not understand why anyone would want to say Kai Havertz needs to start against Manchester United at Old Trafford ahead of Victor Gyökeres, because we need to mold him in or whatever it is. Let's just play our best team, which I think on paper is very good and has an unbelievable chance of not just winning a trophy, but winning a serious trophy. It should do. If we bring in the likes of Eze's and there's a rumor of, Rodgers or whatever it is on the left wing, on top of what we've got, I'm sorry, DG, he needs to win a trophy at the bare minimum, mate. So
he needs to win it regardless of what comes in or here. We need silverware next season.
Exactly. So this side at the moment is good enough to win a trophy. The one that he's putting together, that he gets given, if it is including Gyökeres on top of what we've got and Eze and say Rodgers or Rodrigo, I'm sorry, man, that has to win the Premier League or the Champions League. It has to, like that, because a manager that we should be getting instead of Arteta, if he was to walk out the door or say goodbye, we'd be going and getting an Ancelotti or a Luis Enrique or somebody like that fans would be crying out for. They would win with that team and they'd win a serious team trophy with it because it's a good team. So I need to look at that and if he's then playing Kai Havertz and trying to experiment Madueke on the left and trying to stick with Rice and Ødegaard in this kind of freeway midfield thing and it doesn't keep working, his stubbornness will essentially lose his job at the end. So it's a massive pressure season for Mikel Arteta. We got to win something, man. Got to.
We got to win by hook or by crook, regardless of who's there. I'm sure you would have seen, we've been linked with Eze. He seems like he's the next one that's forever going to get linked with us. Apparently, he's released, while Arsenal have had no intention, apparently, of activating his release clause. His release clause is obviously expired. Do you think we'll get him? Where's your headspace at with Eze? And also on the topic of Eze, you do hear that Arsenal see him as a versatile attacker, but they're kind of comfortable with not getting him because of Nwaneri. So, how do you factor all of these things into the Eze thing as well?
This is a massive Andrea Berta decision. There's a couple of factors with this one. I think Eze wants Arsenal. I don't know how much Arsenal want Eze. I think we'll get him because we've been linked with him for God knows how long.
We need
but
this.
I must say, the situation of a release clause worries me because tomorrow it expires. And Crystal Palace know that if we said 68 million, he's coming. We're trying to get him for lower than that. And that is a massive risk because in 2 days' time, Palace can go, Arsenal bid 60 million. 100, please. That's what's going to happen. But we're risking it by allowing it to expire. Oh, hang on a minute. You want 100? Yeah, it was 68 2 days ago. We ain't accepting 68 now. We want 80. We want 90. That's what they will say. So we have to either release the clause before it expires, or we need to be damn sure that they're accepting below it when it expires. And that's why
Like
I'm
you
looking
said,
at Andrea Berta and the team saying, if you want this guy, if Eze's contract expires, sorry, his release clause
release
expires,
clause.
and we haven't put a bid in, I don't think we do want him.
Some would say maybe we're like, what do you say? Because I hear you, but what do you say to those that are saying, do you know what? We've been told the club are trying to sell people, and then we might entertain any sort of dialogue around Eze, like actual Arsenal Crystal Palace.
I find that madness if we need to sell players, because we should have been selling players before, and we should have been getting this guy done because he's got a release clause. Like I find it okay. Let me put it in a scenario. Let's pretend we've got. Let's choose one of our players. Let's pick Martin Odegaard. Let's pick a good player as well. One of our better players as well, right? Martin Odegaard's got a release clause of 75 million. Okay, and it's expiring tomorrow. Nobody's bid 75 million. Someone offers 60, and we go, yeah, go on then. Of course we're not. We're going to say, no, man, the release clause is done. You didn't want him for 75. He's worth more than that. You give us 120, and we might think about it. That's what Crystal Palace are in now. They're not going to go, oh, we had his release clause 68, but it's expired now, so we'll sell him for less. Yeah, there's 55 with add-ons. No, that ain't going to happen. So we need to either
put the money down, man.
Yeah, we need to release this clause, or they are believing 100% that we're going to get this player because he's agreed terms with us. A few people I know have said, it's done already. It's already done. They've agreed 60. They've agreed the installments. It's all done.
Maybe I'm late, but I ain't seen him do a medical holding an Arsenal shirt, so I hear all of that. But yeah,
I don't believe any of that nonsense, because for me, that at the moment he's still wearing a Palace shirt. He's still got a release clause, and we have to release it. If we don't, and it's expired, I think there is at the moment, I think there's an unbelievable chance for us to get him. If the release clause expires tomorrow, whenever it is, and we have not put in the bid, I think there's an unbelievable chance that he stays. So,
and that's what makes me nervous.
Of course, and Ben Jacobs apparently has said that Boston said big up in that we've got no intention of triggering the release clause, but we still want him.
So there must be some level of confidence then.
Yeah, like if you're going to let him release clause expire and say, we're still getting him, you've either got 90 million lined up for him, or you've got him for 60 million and it's all agreed and all done. So if that's the case, and we're letting, if Arsenal want Eze and his release clause expires, I expect Arsenal to have already got the deal done. If Arsenal are going to go back in for him when it expires, he won't come to Arsenal. He'll want to come, but Palace won't accept anything less than 90 million for him, because look at what everyone else is going for. This guy's just single-handedly won the FA Cup. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna say, well, we believe he's important. He's 26, 27. He's ready now. He's big game check player. Scores against all the big teams. He's coming in, versatile. We want 85, 90 million, please. And they'd be right to do that as well, by the way. So
everyone knows everyone in the Prem's got money, Dan. And the only thing I would say with Eze that would give me some level of confidence is, and I ain't spoken to about it, if you didn't want to activate his release clause, so you must, whether you can is another thing, but you must believe that you can get a deal done for way below his release clause. You must think maybe you're leveraging the fact that he, like you said, he's like 27, he's got 2 years left on his deal. Maybe this is the best time to sell. Your negotiating hand's going to be weaker next season. But then equally, it goes back to what you're saying, in that you could argue his release clause is 68 million, or as you said, they might want 80, 90, but he could actually be worth more than that to them, because I don't know how much it would cost for Crystal Palace to find someone like for like quality, if that makes sense. So it's like, we need to get this done. But I won't lie, Dan, when I look at Eze or Rodrigo and I move beyond those two names, like Eze, versatile attacker, all of this stuff, and Rodrigo, game-changing left winger, couldn't tell you who, Dan. But if you can't get them two, make sure we get that skill set, because I think we need more in the attacking ranks. And also, finally, on Eze, before I move on, Dan, like, where do you see him playing? Because, I hear, we could maybe drop Zubimendi or Rice, and you play with 1-6 and you've got rotating guys. He could play off the right. I think he'd get in off the left, but rightly so. Some people say he's not really a left winger. He inverts and that. And then, we have heard Wanyeri makes us a bit more comfortable in us not getting this guy. Like, where does he play? What's his squad role? Like, all of that stuff, which I don't care about. I want the guy in it. Figure that stuff out later. But for you, where are you at with that?
So people have said they want to see Madueke on the left because he's a 1v1 demon. I don't. People say they want to see Eze on the left because he's an unbelievable player and he's an upgrade. I'm sitting on two kind of sides here. I think he is more effective on the left than Martinelli and Trossard, but I don't think he's a
100%.
yeah, but I don't think he's a left winger. I've got to be honest with you. I think he's a central attacking midfielder, and I
Odegaard's
actually
role.
believe he can play in the 8 or the 10 for us. I think he'd do a better job than Rice in the 8. I've got to be honest, because I think he gives us more flair, and I think he can help us with low blocks.
It's more natural in that stuff.
Yep, and I've got to be honest. People don't like it. I'm a fan of the guy, but he's not been good lately, and I think he's going to be better than Odegaard in the 10. Because I'm not sure that Odegaard is a proper 10. I think Odegaard might be an 8 and Eze is a 10. So I believe that he will get games in the 10 role, and I do believe he'll get games on the left wing. Mikel Arteta, again, a big problem. He does not want to drop Martin Odegaard from the 10, and he does not want to drop Rice from the 8. So unless you're going to play Eze on the left, he's not getting in
And
the
Kai's
first.
going to play.
Well, yeah, exactly. So where is he going to play? So I'm a big fan of Eze, and I think he's a baller. And if it was me selecting the team, I'd be playing him in the attacking 10 role, and Odegaard would be dropped either to the 8 or to the bench. And I don't think that's going to happen. So I think if he does come in, I think he's going to play left wing for Arsenal.
And I wouldn't even be against that. And then even me, not for me, because I don't really care about the fact that he's 27. I just know how our club, quote unquote, kind of operate. And that's a big attraction as to why I wanted Gyökeres beyond the obvious, because it wasn't from the same hymn sheet. But at the end of the day, he's 27. That's not 97, but he's 27. Eze is going to be 27. Zubamendi's 26. Rice is 24, 25. Merino came in last year and he's like 28 or so. Norgard's not going to be here forever, but he's like 31. You know how our team operate. We do care about resale value and stars of tomorrow and being able to play tomorrow and things, which is why I think they looked at it and said, yo, Madueke. And obviously on paper, you've still got Trossard. I don't know, because of how I think the club think, and I don't think it's ability with Eze, if we're going to force the ball out. I think it has to make too much sense. Like, if Palace might be nice to us and say, do you know what? We still want 68 million, but the deal has to make sense. We want 30 here, 20 here, X amount. Don't tell us in the year 3,000 you're going to give us the 15 million you owe us. And I just need to see it happen. Like with Gyökeres, you know me, I was quite pessimistic. I've been pessimistic on these guys. I'll believe it when I see it, but I don't know, man. I just know you need to get Eze. I'm of the thinking now, just get it and sort it out later, man. Do you think would you go for Leão? Would you go for Leão if we can't get Eze? And do you think we need both? Or do you think we need 2 attacking players rather than what we all believe is probably just one more in and done?
I think we'll get one more and done, but I think we need 2 because the left-hand side is completely stale at Arsenal. And Trossard looks like he's out the door. Martinelli has fallen off of a cliff and had a poor pre-season so far. Rafael Leão, that is a typical Rafael Leão that we saw. Yeah, glimpses of greatness, but across the 90, pretty ineffective. And that's the reason I wouldn't go for him. And a lot of people think I'm mad. Curtis and me disagree about this a lot because he wants him and I don't. I would take Rodrigo 100%. He's the one left winger that I want. Leão, I would take him. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's a shocker. But I think there's better out there than him. I think he's a good player, but not a great player. And I speak to people that watch Italian football and they're like, you don't want him, man.
They echo what you say. What you said.
Yeah, they basically say, the people that know him and watch him more than me, I don't watch Leão. I see glimpses of him, right? And I think in those glimpses, he looks great. And then he looks good. But when I look at the scenario of what they tell me, he's great. And then you don't see him for weeks.
Champagne, Martinelli and Trossard then, really?
Yeah. I don't think it's a massive upgrade on Martinelli and Trossard. That's a good way of putting it. And the other thing is, apparently his attitude's a bit stinky. He throws his toys out the pram a few times. I don't want players like that. Eze, if comes in, that'd be unbelievable. I'd take Eze over Leão every day of the week. And I think we need a left winger as well. Because I've got to be honest with you, I'm seeing the news today that Isak have had a bid rejected of 120 million. Isak. Liverpool have had a bid of 120 million for Isak rejected, which means they're going to end up getting him. And we need 2 players coming in.
They're the favourites for the league now. Well, they always were, but
absolutely, bro. Absolutely. And people might say, well, that's mad amount of depth. That's what we need in attack. We need a mad amount of depth, yeah?
Did you not see last season?
1, did you not see last season? And 2, we're doing it at the back in defence. So why can't we do it in attack where it's actually exciting? Do you know what I'm saying? Oh, we got Havertz, Jesus, and Gyökeres. Oh, we've got Madueke, Saka, and Max. Oh, we've got Ethan, Eze, and Odegaard. Oh, we will have Rodrigo, Martinelli, and Trossard. Cool. Let's do it.
Let them fight it out.
Let them fight it out. Let them boot the door down. Whoever's good enough plays. Don't have a first 11. They're all good enough. Let's go for it. That's the way it should be.
Simple,
Yeah.
sink or swim. If you're good, you ain't got nothing to worry about, and that's what comes with it. And again, as much as I hear, and I would love to see Max Dowman get bare opportunities, even though he's 15, 16, and everyone else would as well, Wanyeri, etc. We know that we can't rely on them to do it for 38 games, so we're going to need other people. I must admit, Dan, I agree with, because what you said about Leão is how I feel. Good player, you know, in terms of ability, would not cry about signing him. You know, could be good on the transition, but you flatter to deceive. I don't know what I'm going to get 10 games. You might be good for 5 of them, shit for the next 5. But I must admit that I am, maybe it's because it's the preseason, but even though I know these concerns, I'm at the point now, just spend the money, man. Like, just I need to see, just spend the cash, man, and just fuck it. Let's try it a different way. Maybe it's because Isaac is going to Liverpool, but yeah, man. If you ask me September where I got my thinking cap on, Dan, I might change my thoughts right now. Just show me the money, splash the cash, get as close to PSR as you can.
I hear that, bro.
Would you take Anthony Gordon? Because we're still linked with Anthony Gordon and Rodrigo.
He wouldn't be on my first list. I would probably take Anthony Gordon ahead of like some other options. But if I'm honest with you, I look at Anthony Gordon and Semenyo in kind of the same bracket, really. I don't look at him in a kind of Rodrigo type player. Rodrigo's the one, bro. I've got to be honest. Like, it has to be Rodrigo for me. And I think that if we get Rodrigo and Eze, I think a lot of people would tip Arsenal to win the league. And I think
it's fair enough if you do that.
Yeah, it's a 9 out of 10 window if we get Rodrigo and Eze on top of Gyökeres, Zubimendi and co. Got to be.
What's the temperature like with Rodrigo for you? Like, are you optimistic, pessimistic? Is it one where you're just waiting, maybe it drags into the window, etc.?
I genuinely think it's 50-50. I'm not too sure that he's booting the door down to get out of Real Madrid, from what I understand.
Is the problem.
And I also think that it's not going to be Arsenal that are in for him alone. I think Bayern Munich, they've got Luis Diaz, so people are saying they won't want him. Cool. Well, that means that it's just Arsenal then, does it? No. It means Liverpool.
Liverpool still got space for him. And money.
Liverpool and Man City are going to want him as well. So, and that's just the Premier League clubs. This is a top talent, by the way. You know, if you look at the left wing market, he's by far the best that's available, if he is available. So let's see. But I know Morgan Rogers you've mentioned. I didn't see this today.
Big up African Gooner. I know he does a lot of the updates and whatnot. But yeah, I wanted to. I know your thoughts on Morgan Rogers, but
I love him, man.
Where you at with him? Like, do you think that can be? Surely it's easier. I actually think he might be one of the hardest to do, because Villa are going to make it difficult for this guy, and there's talk he might even get a new deal. But where do you rank that? Like, Eze's probably the easiest. Do you think it's easier to get Morgan Rogers over Rodrigo, or like, where's your headspace at with that?
I look at it differently. I think Eze's got to come in, and I think if we can't get Rodrigo, Rogers is the guy I'd go for afterwards. I'd go ahead of Rogers, ahead of Leão, Semenyo, Gordon. I think Morgan Rogers and Eze together, I think they can play attacking 10 and wide. I don't think either of them are natural left wingers, so people might look at it and go, is that really what we need? But I think both of them are talented boys.
They're centre mid options as well.
Very, very good, mate. So yeah, I would look at both of these coming in. I'll happily. I mean, who is that? The source there? So my eyes are terrible here. Who is the source there?
I'm not sure what African Gooners who he said, but he said Daily Express. I don't know if that's the Ben Jacobs, the Romanos. I must admit, this summer, Dan, if it's not that hand of Arsenal guy, I'm not really taking it in.
Yeah, he's had a good summer, man.
Yeah, he has to be. I actually think that's better, because he's been too right about too many things, man.
Scary, isn't it? Scary.
Flipping scary, man. One love for the super chat. Yesterday, I think Rice, Odegaard, Norgard can't play together. It's negative, and the progression will be slow. I mean, it's not really the midfield trio